Hey, Cade, this is Glenn West with LSU Country. We were talking with Avery Atkins last week, and he calls you a kicking and punting guru. I mean, just what about you and I guess about your studying of kicking and punting has just allowed you to just get so much knowledge, I guess, over the last couple of years to really help out some of the guys on the
Um, Everyone's kind of different when it comes like how they handle their own kicking and their own craft. One of the ways I've handled mine is I've gathered a bunch of knowledge when it comes to me going and training with the guys I trained with in high school and the guys with Coles kicking and stuff like that. And I pay a lot of attention to videos of me kicking and feelings of when I hit certain balls, when I mess up certain times, so I can remember that and carry it on into the future and use it to be able to quickly coach myself. And I've used that to kind of do the same things with some of the guys here when they're having issues. And I think it's made the group a lot better to where we can all kind of coach ourselves and be able to be our own coaches instead of needing to go outside and find someone to help us.
Scott, are you speaking?
Is it my turn? I think Rab's trying to talk.
We can't hear Scott, so Wilson, go
Rab, you're
ahead.
muted.
We couldn't hear him, but when he was unmuted. So Wilson, go ahead.
Okay. Cade, you're Wilson Alexander here from The Advocate. You talked about there, like, everybody sort of kicking and punting can be very individual, specialists can be. So how does Coach McMahon sort of help y'all? Like, what is sort of his style in terms of coaching y'all when everything can be so individual in what y'all do?
I'd say his style is basically giving us the space to figure it out ourselves. It's not very common that a coordinator will really know that much about straight up kicking, like what the kicker does technique wise. But he does a good job of giving us the space to be able to talk in the meeting room with each other and kind of just work things out. And if I need something certain or need to work on something certain a certain day, like a certain drill, or if I need space to just go off on my own and figure something out, he'll give us that space. But that's why it's such a big deal that we need to be able to coach ourselves and figure out what's wrong in the moment, and be able to kind of fix it ourselves.
Okay, I think you can hear me now. I got a false start penalty there, Kate. Sorry about that.
All good.
What is your relationship like with Avery? Obviously, he'd like to be the full-time kicker, and maybe you'd like to kick off, but he seems to understand his role and understand what good kicker you are. And also, going back to last year's Florida game, everybody talks about the shoe being thrown and everything. Do you get a lot of people coming up to you and talking to you about that record field goal that you made in the fog? And what is your part of in that like?
So start off with Avery. Me and Avery have a great relationship. We've been living together since I first got here, and it's very understood that I'm the field goal kicker and he's a kickoff guy. He did field goals pretty well before I got here in the spring, and I can kick off pretty well too. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of thing. So, and then with the Florida game, yes, I definitely do get people asking me about that. It's calmed down a little bit since then, and I've kind of like to focus on the future because that's only one kick. But I do get questions about that.
Hey, Cade. Cade, how do you focus on getting even better after the year that you just had? It seems like improvement at this point would be extremely incremental. How do you view that?
Um, I think perfection is impossible to reach. So that's not really like you never reach your max potential. You just keep going and going. Like even if I make a kick, it doesn't mean that I love the hit. There are plenty of kicks that I've made that weren't great hits, and there's plenty of kicks that I've missed that I was like, okay, I hit that pretty well, but it didn't go through. So there's tons of things. I missed 3 field goals last year, so I could trim that down and I could be more consistent with my hits, try and hit my A ball more often. So there's plenty of things, and you can do things better off the field, being a better leader and being a better teammate. So there's always things you can improve on.
Thank you.
Cade Miller with the Athletic. I mean, backs Coach McMahon. He's had this track record these few years of
from, Cole to you to Zach to now Peyton of just kind of nailing his recruiting. I'm curious, and going back, what do you remember just about him as a recruiter and kind of what brought you here?
Well, there's multiple things. One, it's LSU, so that LSU is a recruiter in itself. It's best football in the country in the SEC, great environment, and it's the South, and everyone wants to live in the South. So that in itself, and then of course Coach Max coached some of the greatest guys in the country, and it's a great person to be an ally and be on your side. So it's has a lot of things that go into it, but he's a great coach.
Hey, Cade, this is Michael Cobble from Channel 2 here in Baton Rouge. Just wondering what your personal goals are for this year. Obviously, a lot of talk about, you being the best kicker in the country last year, winning that award or should have won that award. Does that matter? Is that motivation? How do you approach this year with goals?
I mean, all I can do is to focus on myself. It's kind of hard to ignore that stuff sometimes, but I'm doing my best with it. Of course, I want to be the best, and I think I can be the best. And every time I go out there on Saturday, I think I'm the best kicker out there, but it's not what it's always about. Success is relative to the person. There'll be some guys that go out there and have a bunch of hard kicks in the year, and they might go 75%, but if they're helping their team out and making hard kicks, that's a big deal. And there's some guys that don't do that and that have some easier kicks and go 90+%, but they went out there and made what they were supposed to make. So you can't really – sometimes it's hard to judge success when it comes to kickers. And, yeah, there is stats and straight-up percentage, but I just want to be the best that I can be and help us win some games and continue to grow and make more and more kicks.
Yeah, Cade, Ron Higgins, Tiger Egg. Is there any kind of mental adjustment to having a new holder? You had Zach for so long. I mean, I guess it's Avery. I don't know who it is, but can you talk about the mental adjustment of a new holder and kind of just getting that trust?
Well, yeah, there's definitely a mental adjustment, but I will say the best part about it is that, I've had since January 30th or whenever we started practicing again to start having that mental adjustment. And it's not like I haven't had any holds with Avery in the past, just him being a holder at LSU. He was the holder for Preston last year, so I got reps with him every so often. And it's the same snapper, and Avery's a great holder, so right now we're definitely hitting our stride, and it's looking good so far.
Hey, Cade, Jacques Duce, WAP-TV in Baton Rouge. Over the years, we'll hear like some offensive and defensive linemen goof about kickers. They don't work in practice. They're doing whatever while we're sweating and grinding or whatever. Obviously, you guys have been very good on special teams, so I would assume that's not quite the case. But what is the case in practice for kickers?
Yeah, I get that one often from the O-linemen. While we may not be sweating as much as they are, not our whole body just worn out and all that stuff, we do wear our legs out, especially during fall camp. We are out there the entire practice. There may be days that I'm not kicking, but on those days, Avery and Peyton are punting. So we split it up like that because we can't tear our legs up. But it's not like some other schools where the kicker starts the practice and goes off and plays 9 holes at the university golf course. We get our work in.
Cade Wilson from the Advocate again. How would that punter competition between Peyton and Avery, just how would you assess sort of their strengths as punters and what they're kind of both bringing to that position right now?
So Avery is an older guy that didn't really start off as a punter, but has done well at transitioning to it. And he's a little more raw than Peyton, but he has a big leg and he's doing well with it. They both have their strong sides and their weak sides to it, but everyone has that in their game. Peyton's a little bit younger, and he came off surgery his senior year, so it was a little bit of an adjustment, and he's finally coming back into his stride with things. But Peyton in the future is going to be a really good punter for LSU, and Avery's doing well right now too. So it's 2 good punters we got.
Okay, Scott Rappel again. How much of an influence is Coach McMahon with technique and that sort of thing? Obviously, I know kickers, coming up, you guys have camps and stuff that you go to, and who are your big influences, or who have been your big influences in your development as far as that goes?
I kind of mentioned it earlier a little bit, may not have been too clear about it, but Coach Mack's job isn't really to help us technique-wise. I know everyone might not think that, or that might not be their thought process on a special teams coordinator, but he basically gives us the space to be able to have time to work on things ourselves. And that's why I was saying that when you come and being kicker and specialist in college, you have to be able to coach yourself. You have to be your own best advocate and someone that can figure it out on your own, because it's hard to go out and get outside help when you're busy with fall camp and you're there every day. It's not the same thing where Coach O's a D-line coach and he played D-line. Mac never kicked a ball when he was growing up. He was a safety. So it's a little bit different. He picks up on things since we talk about it a lot, and I'll tell him certain things that happen when there's this hit or certain things that happen with another hit. So he picks up on things, but when it comes to straight technique-wise, you have to be able to be your own coach.
Hey, Cade, it's Kyle again. Can you believe Mac was a safety with those hips? It seems.
Oh, it was a long time ago, so I don't know.
Kickers, as you just alluded to, are a little mercurial and probably deep thinkers. So give us your overarching take on this year's team. There's a lot of talk amongst the position players about the chemistry and why it's improved. Do you feel like that was the missing link last year that you all have this year for your success?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of – last year was a tough season with a lot of things going on. We came in with COVID and then a bunch of racial awareness stuff going on. So there was a lot of uncertainty and stress, and sometimes it wasn't handled well. And Coach O's done a real good job of getting a good staff in, and it's been a real big focus going through the spring. So I think things are definitely looking or trending upwards and looking good.
Hey Neil, how's it going? It sounds like the defensive line had a pretty good day in Saturday's scrimmage. I guess just kind of how would you evaluate what you saw and where the D-line's at as a whole right now, especially with that one look?
Yeah, man, we just at practice every day. We just been working our butts off, buying in what Coach been emphasizing, and we just had a pretty good scrimmage on Saturday.
And just to double up, I mean, I guess from your perspective as one of the leaders of that room, what was that reaction like when Logan went down, and how you guys kind of rallied around that?
We always down and hurt, but he been working his butt out to get back out there. He should be back out there pretty soon. We miss him.
Yeah, but you guys did get back Ali Gay. How was his presence felt during the scrimmage, and what did you guys really see that allowed you to dominate the O-line, as we've been told in the scrimmage?
Oh, yeah, Ali Gay, he was looking real. He looking like himself out there, rushing the passer good, playing the run good. He looking like a real great player that we know it can be. And as far as the O-line, we just compete with each other every day to make each other better. We win some, they win some, but we all fight to make each other better.
And what have you seen that may be different from them this season compared to last?
The offensive line?
Yeah.
Oh, no, they just always working on their off days. Like Saturdays, they up here, Sundays, they up here working, getting better, and we just compete.
Hey, Neil, Jacques Doucet, WAFB TV. Firstly, how do you feel about another year coming up, being an LSU Tiger for another season, and what would you like to accomplish this year? Is it kind of a blessing for you?
Yeah, it's a blessing, blessing to be out there. My brothers, one more year, man. We feeling good. We feeling confident. We've been working hard, blocking out all the noise. We know we're going to be good this year.
Hey Neil, Scott Rappel from The Advocate. Tell us a little bit about working in Coach Jones's new system. How well you guys feel like you're picking it up, and then working with Coach Carter, helping coach all on the D-line. You look like you could still play.
Yeah, Coach Carter. Yeah, he's a great coach, man. He had 80 career sacks in the NFL. So a coach like that, we're gonna listen to him, buy into what he got to say, and just do what we're supposed to do. And as far as the defense, man, Coach Jones letting us get off the ball in the defense attack. We love it. We love it.
Hey, Neil, Matt Trent, WBRZ TV. I just kind of want to, we keep hearing how good this defensive line is and how deep it is. Can you just pull back the curtain and what practices are like with all of these, talented guys and all of this depth?
Yeah, practice great. We rotate, I'm a starter, but the second string he'll start just like me. We rotate equal reps. You know what I'm saying? We make each other better. We got depth. That's the most important part, and we pretty deep at the defensive line spot.
Yeah, I mean, kind of along those lines. Glenn West with LSU Country. Just some of the young guys, Jacqueline Roy, Mason Smith, particularly in the middle there for you guys. Just what's it been like seeing their development over the last couple of years? And obviously, it sounds like they're going to get a ton of playing time this year.
Yeah, J-Roy, he been growing fast. Mason been growing fast. They both two great young players. They're going to be great players for the Tigers. They just been putting in a lot of work, buying into what the coach been saying, and they're going to put on a show for the Tigers this year.
Hey, Garland on Fox 8. I was following up on that. On Mason, are you surprised that he's only been in there since the spring and he's pushing possibly for a starting position there? That's pretty strong movement for a guy that's that young when there's so many veterans on that defensive line.
Yeah, he came in ahead of the game. Like I said before, I wouldn't know he was a freshman if it wasn't on paper. He was a great pass rusher, a great young player. He's going to be good.
Hey, this is Josh Sidley with Louisiana Gridiron Football. Coach O said the D-line shined in the first scrimmage. Kind of what knowledge has Coach Carter imparted on you this year, and also what has Coach Jones brought into the mix with you?
Coach Jones, he brought in a more of attacking front for the defensive line. Coach Carter, he been teaching us all the fundamentals of football, how to get out the ball, how to use your hands, how to reverse the pass. And we just been buttoning all that together to make us compete and play at a high level.
Hey, Paul Warren from Cox Sports Television. I want to circle back to Ali Gay and what impressed you in working with him last year and the way he shined in the SEC.
He got a high motor. That man, he never get tired. So we try to feed off his energy. If I'm down, he gonna lift me up. If he down, I'm gonna lift him up. We just push each other to get better.
Obviously you've been in rotation for years, but obviously being where you're at as a starter right now, all that, what do you think kind of was the key to maybe elevating your game to where you are?
Just working hard in the off season. I had one of the best off seasons I'd have had here. Just working hard on my off days, coming in, getting on the sled, just being the best person I could be on and off the field.
Neil, how much better would you say the team chemistry is right now, not only between the players, but between the players and the coaches, and say it was a year ago at this time?
It's a whole lot better. We gelling good together. We hang with each other off the field. We always trying to get better, watching film together. And we doing what we can off the field just as much as we do on the field.
Durante Jones, he hasn't called a defense in a long time, but do you feel like he's going to step forward and get the job done?
Most definitely. We believe in him. He believes in us.
Hey, Neil, this is William with Tiger Eye. I want to ask you, your journey, your fifth-year guy, mature. You stepped away from the team a little bit last year. You worried about your grandmother. Can you tell me where you are, where you are now, and just how happy you were, get your degree taken care of this weekend?
Yes, sir. I'm happy as ever. My grandma, she better, she healthy as ever. So as long as she good, I'm good.
Hey, Neil, I've got another chemistry question. Like a bunch of the guys that were on the team last year, are obviously back. So with chemistry, was it just changing the outlook of the team, or were some of the bad apples, did they leave the program? What's been the biggest difference chemistry-wise?
It's pretty much, we just had to come together as a unit and just find out what we had to do to get better as a team. So, we did our pros and cons, and we just came together and got better.
Hey Ed, this is Glenn West with LSU Country. We were just talking with Max, and he said one of the biggest takeaways, I guess, from the scrimmage from an offensive perspective was the improvement in communication you guys need to have really across the board. Just from an offensive line perspective, just what are some of the key areas in going about trying to improve communication from the quarterbacks to the offensive coordinator to you guys? What are some of the things you guys are going to be working on?
We're just going to be working on picking up different blitzes and stuff, and helping each other pick up line games, and creating a good pocket awareness for the quarterback. We got to work on not getting pushed back and pressing the pocket so the quarterback can have some room and be comfortable.
Hey, Ed, this is Garland from Fox 8 in New Orleans. Since Max has been QB1 since the first day of camp there, what have you seen from his development this camp there? And have you seen a different kind of confidence since he knows he's the guy and there's no one kind of over his back?
Knowing if you know Max, he's just a humble guy. He's not gonna change his confidence. He knows how good he is as an athlete, but he doesn't flaunt all of that. And he's a great player. Something I've noticed is he's starting to step up into that leadership role, which is good for QB1.
Hey, Ed, you already touched on, communication needing to improve, but what are some other things that the offensive line needs to get better at so you don't have any protection issues during the season?
We just need to get better at just gelling with each other and trusting the coaching and technique from our new offensive line coach. I know we haven't been with him for that long, but we just need to trust him and trust the process and know that all his coaching is going to lead to greatness down the line.
Hey, Ed, Jacques Doucet, WAFB here in Baton Rouge. If you listen to Max, it seems like he's never going to be a guy that thinks he's arrived. But at the same time, he just said, I've never been wide-eyed. Like, he wasn't taken back by or, kind of intimidated by being a freshman and playing SEC ball last year. Do you see that out of him?
Not being wide-eyed. He looks comfortable back there. I don't notice any difference back there, especially playing last year. Some of the stuff looked like he was kind of nervous last season, but he made a lot of good plays last season getting in. So I haven't really noticed much of a difference. He's a lot more comfortable now, though.
And I'm sorry for all the Max questions, but I think we're just trying to learn kind of what he's like. 'Cause he's kind of quiet with us, but I'm curious, what is he just like as like a dude around you guys? Is he still pretty quiet, or what is it?
He's a playful dude. One of the things he likes to do is play ping pong. Is that little table tennis?
Yeah.
He has little table tennis tournaments upstairs in our players' lounge, and he likes to do that and challenge a lot of players, and so that's something he likes to do. He's not a quiet person. He does stuff outside. He plays games and stuff.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Anything else for Ed? Ready?
I'll jump back in. It sounds like the running game had some pretty good moments in the scrimmage Saturday, and it sounds like the freshman running back played well. I guess, what did you see from the running game overall, and especially those freshman running backs?
Our running back room is very talented, so that's something we don't have to worry about. So the biggest thing we have to worry about is being consistent in the offensive line with our blocking and knowing who to block and what gaps to block in, and picking up movement in the run game to let our playmakers make plays.
Ed, how is Cam Wire coming along at left tackle?
He's doing good. He's been doing his thing. Of course, I don't know, a lot of people know about, he's been just staying in the training room, just getting his knees right. But overall, he's been taking his role, doing his thing, and just getting treatment and stuff like that.
Hey Max, Garland Gillen, Fox 8 New Orleans here. Coach O's talked a lot about Brian Thomas and his development over fall camp. Can you kind of go into detail on what you've seen from him so far and his big catch capabilities?
Yeah, Brian's made a lot of plays. He's caught a lot of go balls, a lot of slants, a lot of out routes. He's done a great job of getting off the jam, and all the receivers, all the freshman receivers, and all the older receivers are making a lot of plays right now. It's been a lot of fun.
Is that almost like Keyshawn's number 1, but is it like number 2 through 10 because there's so many good freshmen and you have so many veterans there? It's gonna be tough to differentiate between number 2 through 10 receivers right now since everybody's kind of showing out this camp.
Yeah, everyone's doing a great job right now. Everyone's kind of making plays. We're spreading the ball around, and they're going up and getting it, and they're making a lot of plays for us. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. We're trying to get them the ball and get the ball in their hands. They're gonna make the plays.
Hey Max, this is Glenn West with LSU Country. Just going back to the scrimmage this last week, I know it was probably the first time you guys were in Tiger Stadium since the spring, and the first time you've been able to kind of get plays relayed from Coach Peets into you. And I'm just wondering how the communication was this last weekend with the offense. From Coach Peets to yourself to the offensive line to the receivers. Just how did all that go?
Yeah, I think we need to do a better job of just communicating. The protections, getting them right, focusing on, where the pressure's coming from, and getting that turned around. I think the communication was pretty good over the scrimmage, but I just think we need to work on that.
Hey, Max, Jacques Doucet, WAFB. Coach mentioned how important this upcoming week is. I know all the preparation is important, but the closer you get to the game, I know y'all cut some stuff back. So how important is it to, I guess, improve over this next week or so?
Yeah, we got another week of just focusing on ourselves and, honing in on the details and just becoming, the best offense we can become. And they're trying to become the best defense that they can become. And I think we're competing really well together and we're learning a lot from each other.
Max, you mentioned the communication need to improve that. I guess, is that something that just comes with time and reps, or is there something specific you can do to really increase that quickly?
Yeah, I agree. I think it just comes with time, and I think we've had great communication over the summer and throughout this fall camp. It's just just trying to make it as perfect as we could be, and yeah.
Hey Max, that's Scott Rappel from the Advocate. It seems like there's been talk about not changing some of the mechanics of the offense, or the play calling, or the nomenclature, or whatever. Can you talk about how it compares to the offense last year? Are you having to learn a lot more new terminology and that sort of thing compared to what you learned coming in as a freshman?
There's not a huge difference. It's just the way we're kind of calling it. All the protections are the same. The way we're doing it, it's just the way we're being taught is a little different. But I've enjoyed learning from Coach Peets, and he's taught me a lot, and I've learned a lot, and I feel like I've put the stuff that I've learned into my game, and I'm looking forward to just competing and using the skills that he's given me and putting it in the game.
Yeah, Max, Ron Higgins, Tiger Eye Magazine. I know that some of the running backs have been hurt, but what have you seen out of John Emery and also the young running backs, Corey and Armani? What have you seen from them? I mean, we heard Corey had a good scrimmage the other day.
Yeah, John's done a great job, such as just getting open on choice routes. Even 6-man protection has done a good job of picking up extra guys that have come or that have gotten loose. And Armani and Corey, we call them Thunder and Lightning, just because they're like they're roommates. They do everything together, and they're both studs. Corey and Armani both had great days yesterday or on Saturday.
Hey Max, Glenn West, one more for me. I was going to ask about the running backs, but I guess just talk about some of the more veteran receivers you guys have. Jure and John Trey. I mean, those are a couple of guys that you guys relied on down the stretch last year. Just how have they come along throughout this early stage of fall camp, and how much do you guys think you'll be relying on them?
Yeah, they've done a great job so far. They're leading really well. I think they're leading the young guys really well. I think it's just coming together and just becoming as tight as we can be, and they've done a great job of just boosting the young guys, encouraging them, and they've done a great job of running their routes and getting open and competing every day.
Hey Max, Colborne from Cox Sports Television. A two-part question about your dad. First, on the serious side, what kind of football advice does he give you? Maybe some of the best pieces of advice he's given you. And then secondly, I've got to ask you about his trick shot videos.
Yeah, just some of the advice he's given me is just to, give your all, be the best you can be every day, encourage others, just to go be great and be where your feet are, be present in the moment. Don't think what happened in the past and don't think ahead of you. Just, just focus on the details, focus on the little things, and just try to become the best you can be. And no, his TikToks, he gets after it on those trick shots. He has a lot of fun. He makes them all the time. His little slogan's first try, first take.
Hey Max, this is Cade Dixon with 24/7. I know the tight end room's taken a bit of a hit from just a year ago, but what does Cole do well, and obviously Jack coming in now that you've seen him after a week? How would you describe what each of those guys bring to the field?
Yeah, Cole's more of the more physical tight end. He's a good blocker. Jack's more of a pass catcher. We can get him out flexed. Tidy's a blocker as well. It's just putting them in space, and they're big bodies and they're big threats in the red zone. I think they both bring that to the table.
Max, could you compare the guy you are right now to the guy you were, say, a year ago? As a freshman, I'm sure there was a lot of some wide eye, hey, I'm going to the SEC football and all that. How much more comfortable and mature do you feel this year?
I definitely do feel more mature than I did last year, but there's never been no wide-eyed part of me. I just feel like I've focused more and I've honed in more on the details of what needs to go on and how we need to be a better football team.
Max, you mentioned John Emery kind of getting open on routes and things like that. I mean, it seems like his receiving game is something he's had to improve on since his first year. How have you seen him kind of evolve as a receiver?
Yeah, John's done a great job of, reading the leverage of the linebackers, and he meets with Coach Falk all the time, just figuring out the plays and how to get open, whether it's a stacking linebacker or cut in front of him, or how to get open on choice routes. He's done a great job of that, and he meets and works on that after practice as well.